Hi, this is Kimberly. It is my pleasure to bring to you today episode 19 of As the Mobile Home Park Wheels Turn. Today is the beginning of Chris McNabb's third interview with investigator Jeff Alexander. Chris 2.0 initiated this contact after talking on the phone with Courtney. Remember those couple of phone calls? I'll link them in the description for you in case you've not heard them. They're pretty good. And of course I did subtitles. You can understand Chris McNabb, but not Courtney, because she's just, I don't know. She's got her mouth on the speaker and she's hollering and stuff. Chris McNabb asked to see, sent a note to, because they can send notes back and forth in prison, but he sent a note to Jeff Alexander saying that he wished to speak with him. So this was approximately 2 months after he had been jailed there at Newton County. He was arrested on October 8th, 2017 on a probation violation, initially after he jumped out of the car and took off running when baby 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙀 was found. This is December 13th, and he got together with Jeff Alexander for their third and final interview. He had gotten some local gossip. He got the lowdown from Courtney and he wanted to talk to Jeff about it. I won't spoil it for you, but Chris had settled down. He simmered down from his interview. Remember when he just blew the fuck up when they were kind of making fun of his Facebook and Corporal Freeman said, "You really use that name?" And Chris just lost it. He had some gossip to tell his pal, Investigator Alexander. I'll just say that the story is getting deeper and more involved, as soap operas do. Before I play the first part of this interview, I wanted to share a very small theory that I briefly considered in the very beginning. It was just something that made me say, when Chris was talking. I forget where I heard Chris say it, but, well, it had to be in either one of the phone calls or maybe his first interview. He had mentioned that when they brought the baby home from the hospital, that his stepmother, in his words, begged for them to just bring the baby to her and leave the baby with her, and they were like, no, hell no, it's our baby, we're gonna take care of our baby. And you saw how that turned out. They dumped her off with Megan Sorrells, Courtney's cousin, and then her father, and we all know how the story played out. I just briefly considered in the beginning, and I only remembered about it today, but I thought maybe she came by while they were kind of passed out sleeping to check on the baby, and I thought maybe she just kind of snuck in and took baby 𝘾𝙧𝙀 to kind of make them learn a lesson, and then when it got out of hand, panicked or something. But I don't know anything about his stepmother. It was just a brief fleeting thought. I think what put it in my head was Jeff Alexander had asked Courtney, do you think any family member may have come by and just taken the baby and not said anything? And she said, well, no, they wouldn't have drug it out this long. They would have said something by now. And this was, of course, when the baby was still considered missing. I mean, I have no idea about Chris and Shit 2.0 about his stepmama. For some reason, I'm picturing Cindy Watts like sneaking into the trailer when they were passed out cold and taking the baby to teach them a lesson, kind of the way Bitch was trying to do with Cece. Well, if she eats the nuts and dies, I guess she really was allergic to the bitch. I'm just kind of watching this as I edit it, so I'm gonna just sit down and have a big long kind of Kimberley and chill with this whole court case when I'm completely done with it. And of course I want to dig in and find out more stuff about what happened before the trial, during the trial, and after the trial as much as I can. That'll be fun. You know what I mean by that. Don't go flipping out on me like some of y'all do. My God. Anyway, but yeah, stepmother pretty much begged him to let her have 𝘾𝙧𝙀 when 𝘾𝙧𝙀 came home from the hospital. And poor thing, I am almost certain that poor baby 𝘾𝙧𝙀 was withdrawing from meth. And did they not test Courtney and at least the baby? But I don't know what they do in the hospitals in these situations. situations. Anyway, that's just one scenario that ran through my mind briefly as I try to figure out what happened, what actually happened. And I think I've narrowed it down to a few more logical scenarios. I'll be glad when I can finally make up my mind about this case, and I hope I can make up my mind about this case. I was thinking, my God, if I was on jury duty, number one, I would be completely worn out. They had long days for these people, and they watched hours upon hours of videotape, and it kind of makes me wonder, is this why they came back with a verdict so quickly, or what I consider to be not a very long period of time considering the discovery in this case? Because I know some of you are waiting. That's all I'm going to say, but I wonder if it had any bearing. I'm sure it did on how they figured this out. And what I want to ask of you guys is reading comments from you and how I've kind of gone back and forth, and I see that several of you have too. Some of you have made up your mind already. How would you handle this if you were really a juror on this case? Would you be strong enough to be the one holdout if you were not convinced beyond the shadow of a doubt? Are you absolutely certain who did this or who didn't do this? I think part of their charges were neglect, and without a doubt, no doubt in my mind, they were both neglectful parents. Put that baby in a very precarious situation. Her sister too, she was only 2 years old. Chris told Jeff Alexander that one time Rissa picked up baby 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙬 by her feet and held her upside down. And I think Clarissa wanted to hold 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙬, like a real live baby doll. And they had 2 bedrooms. They should have been separated. First of all, they didn't even have a clean place to sleep. But when you have a toddler that's very, very curious about a newborn, you have to be vigilant. They would have been in separate rooms. I know she had lots and lots of equipment for a baby, and they weren't really using a lot of it, but I wonder if they had the baby monitors. But they were just absolutely neglectful parents. And then poor Megan feeling guilty because she felt overwhelmed with her own 4 children. And then can you imagine a toddler running around and a newborn that's possibly colicky and weaning off of meth? I mean, can you imagine 5 pounds, her poor little nervous system? It just makes me want to cry. But if you were not certain, would you be able to be the one holdout? Would you be able to sway others? I think I could sway, not bully people, but maybe sway people to what I'm thinking. Well, because I actually did that in one trial. And then I felt guilty when I got home. I'm like, God, wait, the thing that kind of tugged at my heartstrings was it was so easy to sway these people, but their heart probably wasn't in it like mine. And Dad said this one way, and I explained why I felt my way, and they were like, oh, okay, fuck's sake, this is somebody's life here. The guy went to jail. He deserved it, though. Very certain what my stance was. I've gotten quite a few people chewing me out over the past several days. It's just the same shit, different day. No surprise, because there's a full moon I was going to say a full moon rising, but it already did it on the 30th November. It was called a Beaver moon. I've never heard of a Beaver moon. Sounds kind of dirty. A Beaver moon is the first full moon of November. Apparently, back in the day, this was the time to set traps before the swamps froze to ensure a good supply of furs for the winter to make your own clothing and, I guess, blankets and stuff out of those, keep you warm. But God, I'm glad I didn't live back then, or if I did, because I do believe in reincarnation. Now, don't come after me with hate on that one, but I hope I didn't live back then, because I would have probably been a real wimp. I do believe that people act a certain way when there's a full moon. I witness it every time there's a full moon on my channel. When I worked in a hospital, same thing. And back in 1978, there was a book that came out, very popular book. It was called The Lunar Effect, Biological Tides in Human Emotions. I'll link it in the description if you wanted to go. It's very expensive. I guess it's a collector's item now. Discover magazine says that it's bullshit that people act differently during a full moon, but no, they do. I've lived a pretty long time and I've witnessed it. I worked in a hospital for many years, and the maternity ward would fill up every time there was a full moon. They would have times where they had no women in the maternity ward, like in the labor and delivery part, I should say. But come a full moon, it would fill the hell up, and they would have to overflow sometimes somewhere else that wasn't labor and delivery. But I think, how there's a gravitational pull in the ocean, and it affects the tides? Same thing on women, their amniotic fluid. This is Kimberly's reasoning here, but it makes sense, right? And this book from 1978 said that it affected your brain fluid. Hey, I believe that and shit. There's some heavy labor going on. Like, put the forceps and the suction cup thing on the head. Put that shit aside. Gravitational pull will pull that baby out. One push and psh, you're done. The same with the ER. There would be some weirded out people doing some weird shit and injuring themselves, showing up at the ER. I worked in admissions and there would be some, I don't want to make fun of people because of HIPAA and stuff, but there was some amusing and absurd shit sometimes. Scintillating and curious. Some off the wall, sometimes outlandish, always laughable. But you can't laugh at them and in front of them. They'll get your ass canned in a hurry. Sometimes preposterous. Yeah, people injuring themselves with their weird ass. People would stick an assortment of household and kitchen objects and stuff into various positions and locations and inlets of their body, adults and children included, up their nose, in their ears, the butt. Women, you know where we were talking about a little while ago where babies come out? One time, this lady came to the ER, and, well, what had happened was, she claimed, now imagine this, she said that after bathing, she went to go sit on her bed so she could towel off and get dressed, and it was a larger lady, too, plus-size lady, big and beautiful, but, so she was naked, and went to go sit on her bed, and damn if there wasn't a light bulb laying on the bed, and she accidentally sat on it, on the light bulb. Well, she managed to drive herself to the hospital, sign herself in, get up on the table for inspection, and they helped her remove it, and it was unbroken. I don't know what they did with the light bulb afterwards, but this is a true story. Because I'm a entertainment channel that does true crime. Even though it wasn't a crime, she wasn't arrested or anything. It might have been illegal in a few states, but apparently not ours. True story. She went down on a light bulb. I'm blushing. I'm sorry I told this story. Maybe it's a little too off color. Y'all let me know. But one thing I do want to make clear. I am not Kim Kaufmann. She runs an entirely different channel. That Resurrection, Chris Watts, Revelation, something. And she knows Chris Watts. I don't. She knows his family personally. I do not. And that's fine with me. I don't need to know them or him personally. His family, they seem like perfectly nice people, even though I've made fun of them a little bit before, but they're just a little too believing in son. Well, son, we know you didn't do it on purpose. We know what she was like, son. Fuck out of here with that shit. But hey, I am not the mother of a family annihilator. I'm not the friend of a family annihilator. Please remember that. Quit cussing me out. And then now for the rest of you that are really expressing their distaste for me, well, I'm glad I could piss you off today. You know that gives me satisfaction. satisfaction, right? Now please know, all I do is laugh when you are pissed off at me or my channel or my material. Like, y'all are pissed off and I laugh at you. I read your comments out loud to my family. And then we all laugh together and make smart-ass comments as a family. Take this for example. This is someone that has a lack of understanding of me and my intentions. And I just piss her the fuck off and okay. They just move forward to rip me a new one. But you know, I was unaware that I needed to consult them before making my channel and or a new video. I'm pretty sure I can think and say what I please, especially when I'm in my own area. This is my space, and that is your space. Fuck out of here. I'm not holding anyone hostage and making you listen. It reads, your narration really pisses me off sometimes. The constant judgment of people who are poor, living in trailer parks, going to NA and AA, shopping with their monthly allotment of food stamps, and the constant remarks about people sleeping off their hangovers in the neighborhood. It's not only appalling, but completely and totally ignorant. You need to get a life. Also, why do you talk so slow? You sound ridiculous. Doesn't feel so great to be made fun of, does it? Bite me, bitch. They call me judgmental while judging me in every way possible. And it's come to my channel and directed at me. It's worse than me judging Chris and Shit or Chris and Shit 2.0 and his girlfriend Courtney. Piece of shit, you know? I'm talking about baby killers in jail. They can't even hear me. I wish they could, though. If somebody out there is listening and you know them, call them up, please. Let them listen. So I'm just baffled at these people that demand I act and speak in the way that they want. What dumb fucks we have walking among us. And then I'm not going to read the rest of this bullshit. It's there up on the screen. I'll save it for when we do our next fuckface video. Why is she being all aggressive and shit? Negativity is just oozing off of her. It's not a pretty look. Damn negative Nancy. Good God almighty, son. Do they have a screw loose or something? You know nothing about me, bitch. I looked her up and she was going off on some of my other people too. Every one of us, she told me and every one of them, you need to get a life. Look in the mirror, sister. We have a life. We're happy. You're the one that seems a little bit disgruntled and hating everybody and hating life. I have a fucking life and it's a happy one. I know you can tell because you can hear the smile on my fucking face when I'm talking. I can also tell that you're jealous of my charm and charisma and that I'm exquisite as a desert rose. You unfortunately cannot say the same. It's all over your comment and all over your fake smile and your fake face. You're a piece of shit like on the bottom of my shoe, and I'm glad I could offend you. That gives me a happy. You must be a barrel of laughs in real life. Just go on with your grumpy ass self. Your fucking attitude sucks. Go the hell away. Drop dead. We're happy here. We don't need you harshing our mellow and marshing our mellow and all that shit. It's quite apparent that you and others do not understand sarcasm, dry humor, and the fact that I am totally not in any way, shape, or form, etc. actually making fun of these people. Well, I am. The baby killers. You don't think I've not had my struggles in life? Struggles with money? I've spent a lot of my life unwillingly having to share it with various family members that have battled many forms of addiction. They pull you in and make you just as miserable as they are. They try to. I think this is probably where I got my sense of sarcasm and weird sense of humor. It's how I coped, you know. But now I am happy, and fuck you. Fuck off. I don't let people stomp on my life anymore. That's why I'm happy and you're not. You need to get a life. I got one a long time ago, and I love it. But, you know, I really don't have to say this out loud, but my life has been touched by these people I talk about. People that have been around for a while and have gotten to know me. My heart goes out to these people that have been murdered, tortured, physically, emotionally, verbally, as everyone else. Yes, I have my own issues. We all do. I'm human. You're human. But I'm baffled at this notion that some people have of me, where they think that I think I'm better than others. You don't know me. Quite the contrary. I do feel that I'm equal to others. I'm no better, no worse. I'm not above you, I'm not below you. Except for like Chris and shit, piece of shit. The Delphi murderer, Fabi and Libby. So fuck out of here with your bullshit. Now, I had a lot more to say, but I'm going to save it for the next video. This is getting kind of lengthy, and then y'all are going to have to wait on me to edit the video and all that stuff. So I hope you've had a magnificent day. And if you didn't, it's better now. Because Kim does care. I care about you. Much love, much peace. Thank you for listening.
Okay, everybody may be seated. I'll once again ask, has anybody during lunchtime been approached by anybody else, asked anything or told anything, or have viewed anything on TV, seen anything in the newspapers, gone on social media and seen anything of those sorts? Okay, we're ready to proceed.
Investigator Alexander, there was a discussion in the interview with Ms. Bell that occurred on October the 8th about clothing items, or at some point in time Ms. Bell wanted to know what had happened to her child, or how was her child found.
Yes.
Did y'all release any of that information about how the child was found, what the child was in, or what other contents were in that bag to Ms. Bell or anybody in the public?
No, we still have not.
And why is that?
Evidentiary purposes and security purposes.
So prior to that interview on October 8th with Ms. Bell, was she aware that her child had been found in a bag with blue camouflage shorts?
She was not, to my knowledge.
Now, in this last statement that we just heard before the lunch break, Mr. McNabb indicated that at some point in time he took baby 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙬𝙬 out on the porch.
Yes.
Had he said that on the day prior?
No, actually neither of them had said it.
After you went to the autopsy and saw the way that the baby had been packaged and also the way that baby 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙬 passed away, did you have any other investigative leads to follow up on in terms of any other suspects who might have broken into the trailer to do this?
No, we had none. Neither Miss Bell or Mr. McNabb could give us any other names other than Matt Lester. So we had nowhere else to go at that point.
So we know that on the 8th, Miss Bell was there in an interview with Investigator Freeman. Was she in custody at that time?
She was not.
Was she released to go home that evening?
Yes.
At some point, though, after Mr. McNabb was booked in on the probation violation, did you take warrants against Mr. McNabb for murder and various other charges associated with that crime?
I did. I believe it was on the 11th.
Okay. Now, subsequent to that, on December the 13th of 2017, did Mr. McNabb reach out, or did you get contact with Mr. McNabb on that date?
I did.
And did he reach out to you, or did you reach out to him to have contact with him?
He actually sent inmates in the Newton County Detention Center have availability to send messages and emails to staff at the sheriff's office. I believe their legal representation, that kind of stuff. And I was sent a message from Mr. McNabb through two detention officers that he wanted to speak with me. It was a handwritten note.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked as state specific number 4. Do you recognize this?
I do.
And what is that?
That is the note from Corporal Wade stating that Mr. McNabb wanted to speak with me.
Okay. And is this the same exact note, the original note that was passed on to you?
It appears to be, yes, ma'am.
You want to know for state specific number 4 into evidence?
Any objection?
Get my previous objection.
Mr. Prowse? It'll be admitted subject to your previous objection, over your previous objection.
Now, did you follow up on this note then and reinitiate or have contact with Mr. McNabb after he had contacted you?
I did.
And where was that at?
At the Newton County Detention Center. I went downstairs to the jail, sheriff's office is kind of two levels. The jail's on the bottom level and the administrative office on the top. So I went down and asked him if he wanted to speak with me. He said yes. So I brought him upstairs to the interview room, and we did another interview.
And again, did you go over the same Miranda rights waiver form that you had gone over with Mr. McNabb in each of the two prior interviews?
It was the same form, but a separate form each time.
Okay, so the same form, but a different
piece of paper.
Okay, so I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 3. Is that the Miranda waiver rights form that you used?
It is.
And did Mr. McNabb again initial each of those rights and sign his name that he wished to waive those rights and speak with you?
He did.
Going to offer State's Exhibit number 3 in the evidence.
Any objection? Submitted over the previous objection.
Was that interview with Mr. McNabb also recorded?
It was.
And have you had an opportunity to listen to that recording? Is it a fair and accurate recording?
I did, and it is, yes.
Now, at this time, I would offer in the evidence State's Exhibit number 84.
Judge, I once again stand on my prior objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
Submitted over the prior objection.
All right. You talking to Gordy? Brother had no. No, I talked to her a couple of times recently. Not the last couple of weeks now. All right. Today is the 13th day of December, and it is approximately 15 minutes to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Chris, I received a note. I'm up here with Christopher, and I received a note from Corporal Wade, who was the shift supervisor down in the jail. And he says, investigator out was dated on the 11th, Monday. Today, during his duty in Max, Deputy Jordan came on inmate McNabb, who stated he had info about his child's death. This very same message was also given to me, which would be Corporal Wade, by Mr. McNabb. Is that right? Yes, sir. Okay, so you made an outreach to not speak to me, right? Yes, sir. Okay. What's the first time you got any word of? Well, yeah, that was the first time. Monday was the first time. Okay. What I'm going to do, because you're in custody, I'm going to try to give your rights again. It's the same thing we've been over 2 other times already. I understand I have the following rights. Number 1 says I have the right to remain silent. Understand that? Yes, sir. Okay. Number 2 says anything I say can or will be used against me in court of law. You understand that? Yes, sir. Okay. Number 3, I have the right to talk with an attorney and have that person present while I'm being questioned. You understand that? Yes, sir. Okay. Number 4 says if I cannot afford to hire an attorney, one will be appointed by the court to represent me before questioning. You understand that? Yes, sir. Okay. Excuse me. Number 5 says I can exercise my rights at any time and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand that? Yes, sir. This line right here says, having these rights in mind, I wish to speak with law enforcement. I have not been promised anything or I have been threatened, coerced, or forced in any way to make this statement. Do you understand that? Yes, sir. You want to talk to me about this case? Yes, sir. Okay. You go ahead and bring your man again. Alright. What do you want me to do, Chris? Alright. I called Courtney one day. Nobody told me I could or couldn't. I just had, she's scared, naturally. She's scared. Y'all got me, I'm locked up. And she don't want to be locked up, you know what I mean? Usually, it goes hand in hand. You lock the husband up, you lock the wife up too. And that's what she thinks, you know what I mean? Okay. So she's scared, so I'm adamant she hadn't talked to y'all. Well, when I called her Monday, she told me the story. She said that she was over somewhere at somebody's house. She didn't know whose house it was. And there was a girl in there, and she thinks their name was Christy. I mean, pretty girl, that's what she said. And she said that they were sitting there, and the girl was like, I'm about to get up and go to the store. I think you need to come with me. And Courtney was like, well, she didn't know the girl, you know what I mean? So she was like, no, I don't think I should.
So the girl was like, well, I really think that you need to get up and come to the store with me. And I got something I want to talk to you about. And she was like, thinking that the girl was acting kind of funny or whatever. And she was like, why do you want me to go to the store with you so bad? And she said that the girl leaned over and whispered in her ear and said, I know who killed your baby. She said that, all right, the girl said something like, well, come on and go to the store with me so I can tell you, what it is, what I know. So Courtney said, okay. She went and she got in the car with the girl. And she asked her, who killed my baby? I want to know who killed my child. And the girl said that Shane Kidd killed her baby. Shane Kidd. Jeremy Shane Kidd. This dude was like with me almost every day. He was with us almost every day. When Khalil was first born at the hospital, when we got her and brought her to the car, take her home, he was in the car. He was with us that day. He was there. He was always there. Pretty much like, not every minute of every day, but more than not, he was there. You know what I mean? Like, I called him uncle and he called me nephew. You know what I mean? Like, we've been knowing each other for a long time. Him and my dad got in some trouble together back in like 98. Because, I was 8 years old, 9 years old. And they got in some trouble together or whatever. And so, he's been a family acquaintance for a long time off and on. So, she says that the girl told her that Shane Kidd told this girl named Sierra that somebody important put a hit out on me. I don't know why. I'm not saying that any of this is true. I don't know. But this is something that Courtney heard. She has said it, or y'all would really be looking into it. I'm pretty sure. I would hope y'all would be. You know what I mean? I hope that this case isn't so biased towards me that, it's stopping anybody from looking and seeing if it's anybody else. Okay. But supposedly somebody very important put a hit out on me. She didn't say who. She said that the person who done it sent Shane Kidd. She said that Shane Kidd, she didn't know, I don't think she knew exactly what the whole situation, but she said that the girl said something went wrong and my child had been done.
What could go wrong?
I don't know. I was not awake at the time. I know everybody thinks I was awake. There's been things said about Facebook messages and all that stuff. I don't know anything about any of that. I don't know where exactly she was found. I don't know how she was found. All I know is things that I've been hearing. You know what I mean? And I'm waiting on preliminary hearing so I can know. Maybe anything to help me figure out who might have done it. I'm telling you, Mr. Alexander, I didn't do it. And I'm doing everything I can. Anything I can. I want to cooperate. I never not wanted to cooperate. That day, I came back on my own. That morning, I came back. I came up here willingly. I told you everything you asked me that I had an answer to, I answered. You know what I mean? I do. I want to tell you though, the day that I ended up being arrested, everybody knows, COVID knows that I jumped out of that car and I ran. Sure. The reason why I jumped out of that car and ran, I was already scared. I didn't even want to see her. I didn't even want to see her dead. I didn't want to see that, for one. But I would have kept coming if Courtney's aunt had to call that phone. And I'm knowing that she's out there in the trailer park, been out there. She called and she just was hollering that I did it. She was just screaming that I did it. I don't know if anybody would naturally panic, but I'm already skittish. I knew I was running from probation. I couldn't believe y'all didn't lock me up when I come up here for interrogation. And I was supposed to go to probation the week before. I didn't tell you that because I didn't want to draw attention to it. I wanted to stay out there and try to find out who killed my kid though. When I found out she was dead, when I jumped out of that car and ran, part of my intention, I wanted to find out who killed my child. That night before, we rode around, me, Craig, Courtney, and Diane. We all rode around. We was going to a couple different places, the people that I had been acquainted with, that had been in and out of my house. And we were asking questions of people. We went to a few different places. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if anybody told you this. You know what I mean? Like, anybody could have got on my Facebook. My Facebook's been signed in to so many different places. I don't know if it's been logged out. I don't know if people know I don't know really. It's iffy about Facebook, you know, and I mean, I just felt like Corporal Freeman was trying to use that to accuse me. And I didn't like it. I want to know who killed my daughter just as bad as anybody else, probably worse than anybody else, because I'm the one that's looking at life without or death or whatever, you know. But this situation supposedly he's locked up right now. I don't know if he maybe got out or whatever, but I really think that you need to speak to him. You need to ask him, and because he's been around a lot, and I mean, there's a lot of people that were coming in and out of that house. I've had a lot of time to think, and there's a lot of names there's a few names that wasn't mentioned. There's a lot of names that wasn't mentioned. And I can't remember all of them, but I just know that these people need to be questioned. This is my life.
Who came in and out of the house that day? Let's just narrow it down to that one day.
You mean the Friday?
Right after you guys got the kids back.
Craig?
Okay.
He's the only one, I believe. I believe Craig is the only one. There was somebody that came to the house.
When he was there that day.
I don't know. Because there was a guy. What was the dude's name? He's a dude, man, I don't remember his name. I want to say his name was Adam. He came out there. Courtney was trying to get some dope. We were both trying to get some dope. I was asleep. She hit this dude up on Facebook. And I can't remember his name exactly, but maybe if there's a way you can talk to Courtney, maybe she'll remember the dude's name. I think his name was Adam. It wasn't Adam Criswell, but he had never been to my house, but I've been around him a lot. I want to say his last name started with an M. But he stayed out there near the trailer park. He stayed out there on, if you pass the trailer park on the left, and you keep going about a mile, on the right, I can't remember what that, I want to say it's called 𝘃𝙗𝙤𝙤. I think he stayed on that road, out past that junkyard somewhere. And I want to say his name's Adam, or Mike. He goes by two different names, but they're both his name. One of them's his middle name, one of them's his first name. I can't remember his last name. But he came out there and he could come in. He pulled up in the front yard and he was looking for Shane Kidd. Well, but Courtney called him out there to get some dope from him. Well, when he got there, I guess he didn't have none, and I was asleep. I just know that Courtney I woke up for like a second, but he never came in. And Courtney came there after he left and said, well, he didn't have shit. You know, he didn't give it to he didn't have nothing to give us. But he wants to know where Shane's at. He's looking for Shane. Well, I don't know where I didn't know where Shane was at the time. He was doing his thing, whatever he was doing. And, but that dude was looking for Shane that day. And then it wasn't too long after that, Craig pulled up. And Craig had some dope.
So Courtney's cousin,
Craig, yeah.
How much dope did y'all get?
There wasn't nothing but enough to fill up a little bowl. He just put a little bit in the bowl.
And that's what y'all did?
And that's what we were smoking that night. I mean, it wasn't enough to do nothing. That's why we both fell asleep, because it wasn't enough for nothing. I mean, I had been asleep all day.
Y'all did some weed that day too?
You know, we smoked some weed that night. I don't remember that dude's name, but I can't remember it. I didn't know him that well. We drove him home one day. Matter of fact, he was out there with us at our house one day.
Adam or Michael or Adam?
I think that both of them are his name, but one of them is his first and one of them is his last. I want to say that. I can't remember his last name.
Which one?
He's probably my height. He's the older guy. He's probably in his 30s. He might be 40. I'd say he's probably in his 30s. He looks older. You know what I mean? I want to say he got brown hair. He was a hell of a lot though. I know he's a friend. He's a friend on Courtney's Facebook. He might be a friend on mine. I just can't remember his name. I didn't deal with him a lot. You know, he came one day with Shane, and he didn't ride home, and we took him home.
When was the last time you talked to Courtney?
Monday.
That was the last
She
time?
went to the phone. She don't really answer the phone numbers.
Where are you calling her?
On the telephone. It's all
I don't know,
recorded.
where is she at?
I don't know where she is, but I know who she's with. She's with David Gabriel Scott. Super Dave. I don't know if you remember that name, but that's who she's with. She's running around with him.
She's still opened up.
I don't know, man. I guess. I mean, I don't want to get her in no trouble. I don't know what she's doing, but I know what she's doing, but I don't know what she's doing. You know what I mean? I know she's hurting. I know she wants to know who killed our kid, but I know that she's uncertain about the whole situation. Just because anybody would be, you know? I mean, I am. I just know I didn't do it. And I know she didn't do it. I just don't see how she could have had anything to do with it either. Because the way we fell asleep was her legs was on top of me. Her legs were right here. I fell asleep on her legs. Like this. And there's no way she could have got out from under me without waking me up. There's no way. And when I woke up, and that's another thing too, you know, whoever did it they had no more than an hour to do whatever they done. Cause, I mean, I got up when my dad said that test and they were both still there. You know what I mean? I've been breaking my brains. I've been doing everything I could to try to remember every little thing, every little detail. And I mean, I can't make sense out of it. I can't make sense out of any of it. Why would anybody want to do it? What would be anybody's motive to do it? You know? What would be somebody's motive to get rid of somebody's kids?
I don't know. It could be one hurt you, Courtney. You know, if it's not you and it's not Courtney that did it, you know, do you owe anybody anything?
No, I don't owe nobody nothing. I don't got nothing to hide. It's all out there. Everything's out there. I mean, that was what that running from probation was what I was trying to hide that day. The day that you interrogated me for all them hours. For when we sat up here for all that time. The only thing I was running from was probation. I didn't want to admit being one of those. Drawing attention to the probation was why I didn't mention that. I didn't want to draw attention to it. I was hoping maybe the warrant hadn't been put in yet, but I knew that I missed going to my probation officer a week or two before that. And I didn't want to admit that I was on drugs, because then that would have got defects involved, and I didn't want my other little girl to.
Well, I can tell you this, Christopher, we knew that you were involved in probation, and I knew that you were involved in drugs, both weed and marijuana. And, you know, I already knew that. You know, but the same token is, you know, your daughter was missing, and our objective was to locate her and get alive with it. Okay. Unfortunately, we found her and she had already been killed. And she was murdered. There's no question about it.
My lawyer told me how she was found, kind of. She told me to do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. There's no way in hell I would do that. You know, everybody that knows me should know. Even Courtney, she's just confused. She don't know what to think about anything because she was asleep. And that's what she keeps saying. I was asleep. I don't know, but she's saying that everything that she's been hearing, she says that she feels like most of the stuff that she's been hearing went towards me. That's what she feels like.
Yeah.
But I don't know really what all she's been hearing. I mean, everything that she's hearing can't be true.
I don't know what she's hearing. I don't look at Facebook like that. And I can tell you this, I don't tell Facebook anything. We don't put our cases on Facebook. We don't put any information out to them. We're not sharing any information with anybody. Nobody in the media.
I know I've been on the news a lot.
Well,
And they're saying a lot of stuff.
I mean, it's been a while since you come up, and when the grand jury does the indictment, probably in January, it'll kick back up. But
I mean, I wish that I could figure out who done it. There's only so much I can do from jail. You know?
well, I'm just going to be honest with you, okay? The last time we talked, the day that we found 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙬𝙬, the day that she was found, we didn't have a whole lot of information about the condition of her body, the manner of death, all the stuff, you know. We have a lot of more information, and honestly, Christopher is continually pointing towards you. And I'm just like I said, I think I said this at the beginning. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have anything to hide. It's going to come out one way or another. Your attorney has all the information that I have. They have access to the entire case file just like I do.
So basically they can see my discovery back. I mean, I haven't even been to a preliminary hearing.
Because there hasn't been a fact done by the grand jury. You can deal with your attorney, that's the one that's but I don't have any information on, no evidence pointing in any other direction. I don't know what it is that caused 𝘾𝙧𝙤𝙬𝙬's death. I know how she was killed. And I am pretty sure that I got the right person in jail. But I'm going to look at all this other stuff. I'm not that guy who just receives the end and that's it. And if I'm ever wrong, if I find somebody else wants to come up and confess, I will tell you I'm sorry and I was wrong. But I'm also the guy that is going to continue to do the investigation. And if it is indeed you like I think it is, I'm going to make sure you get put under the test. And you would understand that just as well as I do. I appreciate you coming up here and initiating this contact. And, and this is a much better conversation than we've had in the last two because your head's much clearer.
I understand.
You said that someone put a hit out on you. Why would there be a hit put out on you?
I don't know. I'm not even saying that was necessarily true. That's just what the girl told her. That's
Yeah,
somebody important. I don't know. I really don't know. Because I know deep down inside that when it's all said and done, that methamphetamine is going to be the reason why my child ended up dead. Because it was somebody that was coming around, and everybody that was coming around because of methamphetamine. In the end, I feel like it's all going to come around in a big circle and be methamphetamine for the problem. That's what I feel. Whoever did it is a meth head. Or was a sin. The hit thing, I know that I don't. That's a little bit much for me. Because I'm not anybody. I'm nobody. You know? I'm not some big. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm not somebody that anybody would really want to take out, I don't feel like. I mean, other than maybe the fact that they were scared of me, but, like, well, I don't know. That's the reason why I thought Matt Lester did it, because he was the one who I felt like had the most beef with me, because I heard him. You know what I mean? And he had sent threats about getting me and getting the people that were there. Shanky was there that day. I don't know about that hit stuff, but I still felt like it needed to be said. Because, I mean, there could be some truth to it. Who knows? I don't know. But I know it needed to be said. It needed to be told.
Speaking about Matt Lester, and if I remember correctly, I quote, you whooped his ass bad. That stuff that was found on the trail,
The shoe were his.
What about the other stuff? You brought that stuff out there, is that right?
Me and Shane Kidd took it out there.
And what was it exactly? You remember again?
All right, there was a red Alabama bag, but we got that. We went back out there and got that. That was mad. I went back out there, as a matter of fact, I went back out there and got that myself. those shoes that were on that trail were in that bag. And I didn't want those shoes because they were ugly and they were too big. And I didn't want them. So I took them out, threw them on the trail, walking back up through there. There was a camouflage jacket out there, and that's what I wrapped. I had a hookah. I had a hookah. I had some scales. I had a grinder, a weed grinder. I don't even think I had any dope that day. But anyway, I put it all wrapped it up. Well, when I went back out there to get the stuff, I unwrapped the camouflage jacket and took I'm not sure if I even got the hookah, I don't remember. I know I got the scales and I got the grinder. I got that red Alabama bag, but I didn't take that camouflage jacket with me. I left it in the woods. I don't know why I left it, but I left it out there. It had been out there. It had been out there for at least a month and a half when this happened. It had been at least a month and a half, maybe 2 months. But the box to the hookah, I left out there. I don't even remember if I got the hookah though.
What did you bring us up?
Because that was the day that me and Matt Lester got into it. And it was all his stuff, a lot of his stuff. That bag was his. And I felt whenever I kicked him down the steps and he took off running, I figured he was going to go to the police. So I wanted to get all this stuff out of my trailer. That way, after all the blood that was in the hallway got cleaned up from him and all that, that's when I took the bag out there because I knew if he went to the police and he would come back out with his stuff. So that's proof right there that me and him got into it. But without that stuff around, I could deny it. That's how I was thinking at the time. I felt like he was going to call the police. You know what I mean? They said that he ended up talking to him, but that he didn't try to put him on to who it would, whatever happened. He just told him something. I don't know. What I was hearing was that he told the police somebody tried to stab him or something like that, but they didn't, no police ever came around asking any questions.